Finally, a new podcast that digs into nature. The Three Rivers Park District has a new podcast that's part educational, part entertaining. Neil Persley finds out what the buzz is all about in today's Weekend Showcase.
When a loud buzzing sound can be heard, we often think bee. It could be a honeybee, a bumblebee, a mason bee, a sweat bee, or even a wasp.
To be or not to be?
But not all bees are created equal.
That was the question Brandon Baker had been wrestling with while thinking about developing a podcast for Three Rivers Parks District.
Our main focus on this was to reach out to millennials.
And so was born the Wandering Naturalist podcast.
What does a cow and a honeybee have in common?
Ooh, I know the answer to this.
Brandon Baker.
We enjoy the bodily excretions of both of them.
Is an interpretive naturalist.
But what I'm trying to get here is that they're both livestock.
And Angela Grill is a wildlife biologist.
Brandon comes from it as he's got to be able to captivate all different types of audiences. And for me, I'm more in the field, so I don't really have to necessarily captivate people. I've got my nose in the book. I'm doing the research or the surveys and learning more through just being immersed in it.
Their chemistry is great, and their goal is to motivate beyond listening.
We definitely are hoping that people will listen to this podcast, get intrigued by it, and then want to come investigate our parks.
A single one of these is incredibly delicate. Altogether, though, they have the ability to ruin a commute.
So in this podcast, we like to use a lot of natural sounds, and natural sounds specifically from the region, if not from our actual parks.
And it's Laura Gerald's job to find and record those sometimes strange sounds.
So the most challenging one that I still haven't gotten yet, we'll see how it goes, is I read in one of their topics that I'm going to need the sound of earthworms at night. And I'm thinking, I don't know what an earthworm sounds like, much less what they sound like at night. You know, do they sing? Do they yodel? I have no idea.
With more than 20 parks and over 27,000 acres to explore, there's probably a Three Rivers Park close by where you could go to hear for yourself whether earthworms yodel at night.
Yeah, keep discovering, because the more you learn and are curious about nature, the more fun your wanderings are.
For Weekend Showcase, Neil Persley, CCX News.
Sounds like a good one. You can download any of the podcasts from the Three Rivers Park District website through Google Play, iTunes, Spotify, or Stitcher.